Conversations is very talented artist Rey Fritsch. Welcome to the show.
You. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate you.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm your host, Kevin.
And I'm your co-host, Brian.
If you want to catch up on any previous episodes, visit us at coderconversations.com. But yeah, welcome to the show, Ray. It's an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, you're a very talented artist. Just to get things started off, do you mind telling us how long you've been painting for and like what got you into art in the first place?
Well, being a creative human, I think I was born very creative. I created like my imagination, exploring just from a young age. I remember doing all that stuff, and I don't know when it turned into me physically painting, but I have photos of me painting when I was 3, 4, like at an easel with a brush. Nothing impressive, I'm sure. But like, I specifically remember in about grade 2 or 3, my mom taught me how to paint with acrylic on canvas, just very basic, like sunsets, I think, and a mountain, stuff like that. So I kind of started to learn how to use those tools. Yeah.
Awesome. So was it your mom that really pushed you towards acrylic, or is that something you also just happen to choose over time as well?
I think because it's what I learned with, I stuck with it for the longest. I learned a lot of really cool like acrylic things you could do. Like I didn't always paint on canvas. I did a lot of journaling and mixed media, and you can do a lot of cool things with acrylics, and that kind of evolved into oils around COVID. I started learning oils. I wanted to learn something new, and now I kind of sometimes I use them together, sometimes separately. But equally, yeah.
So you have like a really bold use of colors. I noticed. You're not just typically painting something that's realistic. You're almost like pop art, sort of. The way you use colors. What made you like use colors in that fashion versus just sort of painting realism?
Well, I like to think of like, I don't know what my style is. I've never really figured it out. I've had some people label it. I've never fully been comfortable with any of those labels. But like pop art is probably closest. Like it's very colorful. So the always being a very color, because I'm something I'm a detail person. Like I've always been very fascinated with colors, and I notice them like in nature and life and everything, which is funny because I'm very interested in color combinations, mixing colors, seeing what happens, like how to make colors glow next to me or muted colors, things like that excite me. Like, and so like it's always been something that I just wanted to play with. Like sometimes I don't even want to draw or come up with something, and I'll like, it doesn't matter. The image, I just get on there because what I want to do is I want to get just playing with the colors.
Yeah.
Like that.
So would you say your process was just kind of organic? You just started drawing from a young age, and your mom kind of noticed you had a knack for it, and then taught you a little bit, and then kind of let you go about your business?
Yeah, I think so. I think I just like, she's an artist as well. My mother's an artist, so but very different than me, very technical, very realistic, stuff like that. And so I don't think it like I've ever like pushed it on me or anything like that, or noticed necessarily. Like I think she just always encouraged. Like she just always encouraged me to play, always encouraged me to create. Always, she never really stopped me. Never really had. Just kind of let me do my thing.
Is art something that you just like? Certain people, they just really gravitate towards certain things. Like for example, Brian towards music. Is like art something that if you feel like you're not doing it daily, you're missing something, or how does that feel for you?
For a while, yes. I need to have something creative in my day. Like painting is something I just landed on because I was able to find a way to make money doing it. I mean, it's true though. Like you got it.
Yeah.
Like, I did photography before, and it it didn't let me use the creativity I wanted. I wanted to do the digital art and the after editing, and I didn't want to take pictures of weddings and families, you know? So things like that. I did sewing, I did fashion design. Like, I always just need to keep part of my brain, like, creating. If I'm not creating, I'm imagining things. I have stories in my head, things I see, you know, like not actually, but like, you know, like there's a lot going on. And so like if I create a bit a day, whether it's painting, whether it's even like as simple as my makeup, like just something that I feel like I took something that didn't exist before and see the result of it, you know? That's your question.
Did you do anything to foster your creativity, or was that something that just always naturally existed?
It's always naturally existed. I get very sad when I stuff it. I would say there are things that help, like music and like, you know, just being in the right mood. Like sometimes you gotta find the right creative outlet for the right mood too. Like sometimes it's not always painting. Sometimes it's playing my guitar.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you need to create the space for the creativity to come about. Like I used to compose video game music soundtracks, and you know, I would stay up, you know, all night, be up until 4 or 5 in the morning, programming stuff on my Electribe. And it's just one of those things, like if you create the time and you create the space, you could potentially get something awesome, or you get nothing, but at least you're creating the time and the
Yeah,
space to create and to see, you know, what can you come up with today or tomorrow or etc.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And like, and just setting aside that time for yourself, it's important. It's like, you know, it's like self-care. It's making sure doing things feeds you and that, you know, gives you energy and that gives you like inspiration, all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So there's a term, starving artist. Like me, I was somebody who wanted to be an artist growing up, but you know, you as you start growing up, you kind of see it doesn't necessarily make a lot of money unless you know you're pretty popular. So what made you stick with it as a career, and how were you able to eventually get to a point where your art is supporting you and you're not working a side job to support your art?
Yeah. So it really wasn't a plan. I kind of got into it wanting to make a bit of extra money and just seeing if I wanted to sell, like just see if some of the things I kind of just played around with sold, and they just sold immediately. And
Oh wow.
I was like, okay, well, that was fun. Maybe I'll start an Instagram account. That took off immediately, like really quickly compared to like when people try to start an Instagram account nowadays. Like it
Right.
like I was like, yeah, in the straight away.
Wow.
And my art was selling, and I was struggling with it because my art has always been a very healing, private thing for me and very personal thing. So to go from being like, this is my personal, private moment to like, hey, world, here I am, and here's my art. And like, that's how I did it. I did it with me there and my art. I wanted it. I wanted my face on it. A lot of my creative endeavors, I kept my face behind it. I even made up like pseudonyms and stuff like that. But like this, I wanted it to be my art to represent it. And so like I was like, here I am, here's my art. And like I gotta block some of it from my brain sometimes. It's not really who I am. I'm still that private, like to paint by myself, keep to myself, think to myself, have my thoughts, things like that. But then like you know, you struggle with the balance at the beginning because I was expressing myself way too much at the beginning, and my words and my thoughts telling everybody everything, and that brings the trolls and that brings, you know, all that stuff at the beginning, the nastiness. And I was I don't know if I'm going way off topic, stop me if I am, but like I don't want to like say for sure, but I kind of started the girl posing beside the art thing by accident. It was never a thing back in the day. And I really wanted my face to be with my art. I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to not be ashamed. I wanted to not be scared. And so I posted all my art. And I got so much hate for it at the beginning. And
Really?
like so much
Like
hate. Like
what were people saying to you?
that I was full of myself. I was vain. Art shouldn't be about me. It should be about the art. It should, and stuff, you
Wow.
know what? A lot of it I agree with. Like a lot of it I agree with, but they didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't feel like I needed to explain what I was doing. Like I just felt,
Justify. Yeah.
yeah. I felt like this was my thing I was doing. I didn't need to sit down in the comments and, argue people. I still don't, I still get the comments here and there, but not as much as it's because it's become very common. It's become very common for like a pretty girl with pretty painting to pose and, do that sort of thing. And, they do still get a lot of hate, but it kind of became a thing. It's kind of my fault. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, that's what's really interesting about the internet, especially being a public figure. No matter what you do, there's going to be somebody out there that doesn't like it, and you just have to deal with the negative comments. Like, how are you able to develop that thick skin to where you didn't start taking the comments personal or start feeding the trolls?
I'm very sensitive. Like, I'm a very sensitive human being, and so things affect me deeply. How I deal with it is I don't respond, usually, for the most part, unless I really have to. I respond in my head, and I respond to like my closest friend nearby. Like, this is what I'd say, but I won't give them the attention
That's good.
because I barely have time to respond to all the good comments. Like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
And so then one to stand out. But like, I just recently got some guy who has no art on his page criticizing my painting, the coloring, I should adjust this, I change that. I would love to tear into him and be like, thank you, sir, but let's see what you have to offer, sort of thing.
Yeah, what do you have? What have you done? Yeah.
Yeah, but why? Like, why give him my time of day, right?
Yeah, I had someone come at me maybe a couple of months ago, and it was just really personal stuff. They were just like ripping me apart like they knew me. And I look at their page and they have like 7 followers and like 3 pictures. And it's like, you're just jealous. You're just envious that I've got some stuff like going on, popping off, going on, and you don't. So you got to hate on people. But
for sure,
that's the internet. Yeah.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. Even being a woman, like, I get told, like, oh, my art's selling because like I'm pretty, or because I'm standing beside me wearing a crop top or something like that, like, or whatever. But like, I really don't know like many people out there who want to drop a couple grand because like they saw some like pretty girl beside a painting. Like, people still want art that's quality, and they still want something nice hanging on their walls at the end of the day. However you want to sell it, Instagram grabs onto that. I mean, that's the honest truth. That's any girl or even guy. Like, the second you put your face in a post, the second you put yourself, like, in any way, Instagram puts it in the algorithm quicker or better, like, than if I just put a painting or something like that. So I mean, there's a bunch of reasons for
interesting.
Yeah,
I think you kind of got a small taste of what these celebrities experience on like a large scale. Like, people don't think celebrities are human. They think just because they have a nice size following that they can say anything, and
for sure.
It's crazy, really. But
they start talking like a very small taste, I have to say, but they stop talking to me like I'm like they're talking to me anymore. They start just talking about me.
Yeah,
the comments, like, she's this and she's that. Before they would be like, hey, you this and you that. It's different for sure. Yeah.
Do you like try to kind of develop your own tribe, your own community? Like, do you really interact with people who engage with you positively, and do you have like regulars on like different paintings commenting?
There are people, like, I have certain, like, let's say, followers that have been around for a while that are always encouraging, always liking, always lifting me up and stuff like that, and they have a special place in my heart. Like, I don't always like know maybe their names because they have their screen name up, but I always recognize their profile picture. I always see their back. I always appreciate that. Have I ever, like, I try to keep like personal life and like business life separate, so like I've never like
sure
the people or anything like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I know. Like you mentioned, keeping personal life and business life separate, that's very, very important, because as you know, like in the internet, one wrong move and everything is just over.
You're canceled.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
One little slip up and people crucify you these days.
Oh, it's horrible. It is horrible. I mean, I get it, like, to some extent, but it's also like,
No, it's terrible, because some people get there and they've been working at their career their whole life,
for
and
sure.
then
It's gone
one
over.
one slip up, they say the wrong thing about a religion or a person, like who knows what it is, but they say the wrong thing and then they get crucified.
And it doesn't even have to be now. They could have said it 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fully defeats the
That's right.
purpose of
That's right.
living life and learning from life. That's just saying don't make mistakes ever in your life, or else we're going to take everything you have away from
We're
you.
gonna take everything away from you.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. You know, I've seen, like, for example, a football player, maybe when he was 18 years old, he said something, and you know, he's like 30 now, and they're bringing it back up and painting him based on what he said when he was, like, you know, like a teenager. And
Yeah.
And what's life
everything.
if not making mistakes? Like if
That's
all of
right.
us were recorded at saying, like, we've all said stupid things, we've all said things we shouldn't have said, we've learned from them. That's life. That's how we grow and learn, you know? Like, yeah.
So, like, do
For
you make
sure.
like a concerted effort to keep your personal life off the internet? Like, okay, here's my public persona, but I'm not gonna share, you know, my thoughts in regards to this.
I think people would be very surprised if they had a peek into my personal life. I have very,
in what
not that
way?
I'm trying to show two
In
people, I show myself in both ways. Like it's me, it's Ray in both areas, but they get Artist Ray and then personal life Ray.
so can you talk a little bit about the personal? What sets that apart from the artist?
I'm very protective of, like, myself and my life and things like that. Art used to be part of that little circle, and then art became public. And so now I have to, kind of keep one protected from the other. And the other, I have to keep authentic and still have me in it, and an authentic me and a vulnerable me. And like, so it just, but as long as it's just me, like, you know, that's, you know, occasionally I'll post a picture like on a story of me and a friend or something like that. But for the most part, it's just two separate ones for me.
I mean, that's a fantastic attitude because, you know, like we just mentioned before, one wrong move and it's quote unquote all over. But yeah, we kind of spoke a little bit about how you deal with, let's just say, like your fans or admirers of your work. How do you deal with like fellow artists online? Like, do you really engage in the community and network with them, or are you more so I'm just doing my own thing and I don't really need to reach out to other
Um,
artists?
yeah. So I've met artists. I met some really cool artists online, but I've never been one to have very many, like, if I've never been one that joins like an art group or like a gym group or like I've always been a loner. I've always been kind of happiest when I'm with my thoughts, with myself, with my music, with my art. So no, it's not something like I've met some really cool people, and then we like I kind of know that we kind of have a thing because we support each other. Because I like all their posts, they like all my posts, or like we'll comment every now and then, but we never talk or anything like that. But it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, if there's another girl or something like that online, like I feel like we have this little bond that is unspoken. But I've never actually like really fully connected for like a long amount of time with anybody really online. Any community.
Okay. And are you an only child or do you have siblings?
I have an older brother. He's 3 years older than me. Yes, he's opposite. He's a businessman.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm a businesswoman too, but like,
Right, clearly.
Our businesswoman. Yeah.
No, like psychologically speak. Oh, were you about to say something, Brian?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying, like, psychologically speaking, it's really interesting how people are so different. Like, all of us were well, you know, all of us were introverts. I'm an introvert. Brian's an introvert. You're an introvert. Whereas a lot of people, they get energy being around people. And when they're isolated, it feels like, you know, they're being drained. Whereas with us, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Yeah.
Like
Who
when you're
had a
in
hard?
oh, go
I'm
ahead, go
curious.
ahead.
Out of the three of us, can I ask who had a tough time with lockdowns and COVID? Because I find that's like the line. Is like I just sat at home and painted, and I didn't notice anything else that was going on in the world. And then other people were having full-on breakdowns, which I get, but like, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying, like, I like that isolated feeling during, you know, I didn't like people like passing from disease, but I like when you go driving, there's nobody on the roads and you could just cruise around and
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's just something about being by yourself and it's just I don't know, it's I just enjoy it. It's hard to explain why.
I think
Oh,
it's
for
just
sure.
Yeah, I think it's just part of being an introvert. You know, you like, okay, my sister is the opposite of me. So she used to act and model and very outgoing, very talkative. You know, so she thrives off of energy when she's like, you know, out at a public gathering or at a bar or just anywhere where there's people. She just really she sucks up all that energy, and it fuels her. And when she's alone, she gets very introspective, very dark into her own thoughts, her own mind. So, in a way, she really needs that energy from other people to balance her because if she isolates too much, kind of like the three of us, we just isolate and we enjoy it. But for her, it's like the worst thing in the world.
For sure. Yeah. Sense.
Like in
Yeah.
terms of isolation, do you feel like there's any advantages, and what do you also feel like are the disadvantages of being kind of the quote unquote loner?
Um, I guess it's like playing team sports. You don't have to rely on anybody, you got you. And for me, it's like the mornings and the evenings. I used to be a night person. I used to paint all night. And now I wake up at like 2 a.m. I start my day. I just need that time at one end or the other where the world is asleep and I can just like it's just quiet. It's just like I don't think it's unhealthy. Like I just think it's beautiful. Yeah.
No, that's really interesting because like me personally, I like riding around at like 11 or 12 at night, just cruising by myself. It's I don't know. I think it's just a different mentality compared to what most people are like used to because they need to be around people. Do you find like your introversion comes out in your art, in your artwork? Like, is there that I guess that feeling of solitude in some of your pieces, or
I would say that like I come out my artwork, so all parts of me. I like to think that like in my paintings, if you can see behind me, they're very busy. There's a lot going on. I like to think different parts represent different parts of me and hold secrets and stories. And when the client has it, I've heard many times they've just stared at the painting and they're like, I keep seeing things I've never seen before. And I like to think that they're just kind of seeing parts of me, I suppose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
well, no, I don't know, Brian, you being a musician, I know you like you say you teach feel and it's not just the technical aspect of playing the drums. So like with you doing your art, how much of it is like technical and how much of it is feel?
It depends. When I do acrylics, it's all mostly feel. It's like mostly it's so different. It's just like this high energy, different music, bigger paintings, just like instinct, intuition, adrenaline, all the good things, and I just go at it. And then when I'm doing like a portrait in oil on an 8x10, I have my little easel, my little chair, my little light setup. I have on some lawn Billy Idol. It's mellow and like I forgot the question off topic, but like yeah, it's just like a totally different experience.
Oh no, we were just talking about feeling versus technicality. Like you, Brian,
But
when you
yeah,
Right.
teach
so
it.
with oils,
Mhm.
it's more technical. It's more, I get very into, and if you look at a lot of my portraits, they're more realistic and like I get very technical. I do things the way I learned how to do them. Things like that. I never learned to really acrylics other than my mom showing me the two paintings, but like I just kind of figured it out.
Yeah, but like Kev's saying, so I teach drums and I teach primarily feel. And when people say, well, what is feel? I say, well, another word for it would be groove, or just, the feeling you get when a certain type of music comes on or a certain beat is being played. So like what I'll do to teach feel is and this is why I don't teach online. The student will be playing, let's say, Billie Jean, Michael Jackson, whatever, Man in the Mirror. and I'll be on the side of the drum set with the stick playing the hi-hat on all the quarter notes. So I'm directly giving the student, okay, here is the feel, here is the time, follow me, watch me, feel me on this. And that's primarily what I teach. And that's what I'm best at expressing to my students.
Yeah.
I think feeling is really powerful, but the downside of feeling is you might not be feeling like doing artwork at a particular point in time, or feeling, you know, in that mood that really inspires your art. So when you're not in the mood, like, how do you do the artwork that you need to do when it comes to, let's just say, a commission piece?
Commissions I can do, it's commissions I can do on command, so I can not feel like it necessarily up for it. I get down here and my brain goes switch and it goes into, all right, it goes into kind of technical commission, looking at a picture, you know, there's thinking involved. I change the colors, I do how I want, but there's also, you're looking at a photograph with things that are inspired more like freely. Sorry, what was your question?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really bad at seeing my train of thought. Like really bad.
Oh yeah, how do you
all
do
good.
the commission work when you're not like
Oh
feeling
yeah,
it?
so that's easy for me. It's harder to come down here when I'm not feeling it and feel like I'm gonna start a big piece that's gonna be wild, like an eye painting. Like my eye paintings are really abstract, really wild, a lot of energy, a lot of that. And if I'm just not feeling it, it's not gonna look good. Like that's all that I've just accepted that. If I'm not feeling it, don't force it. The commission's different. If I'm not feeling it, I can still do a good commission. And it usually by time, like it takes about like 5-10 minutes and I'm into it. Like it doesn't take that much time to force myself to enjoy it, to get into
But yeah,
it.
you really, you know, with the arts, you really do need to be into it. And this is what some people don't understand is like me with the video game music. I used to be super into listening to it. And, you know, I would just listen to video game music from video game soundtracks all day long and just take it in, take it in. And then at night I would write. And now I mostly just listen to jazz. I mostly play kind of rock, reggae, pop, things like that. So you know, everything changes in time, and I think you just got to be okay with the fact that sometimes you're not going to be in a creative mood. Like I haven't written any video game music in years. I don't know. I can't even tell you why I can't, or like last time I tried to sit down was a couple of years ago, and I was forcing it and it was terrible. I couldn't get anything. But if you know, look at my old work, I have like 4 or 5 EPs out, or OSTs, however you want to call them. And a lot of it's very creative stuff, but yeah, I don't know where it went, but it's not, it's not there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just part of being an artist. I have those too. Like I have the things I cannot, like photography for a while, I could not pick up a camera for years. I hated it. Like I hated it. I got so sick of it. And with painting, there's certain things that I just can't do anymore. I had this driving passion. I think it's a curiosity for me, like for painting, to see it coming to fruition, to see what's going to happen if I do this, if I do that, if I do that. And like, when you don't have that, it just, something gets lost in the process, I think.
Like, do you ever have that fear of, since I mean you're making your living off of artwork, like do you ever have the fear of I'm losing my passion for it and therefore I won't be motivated to keep doing it to make a living? Or
I
you
have
kind of
those moments. I think it's part of being an artist too. I think it's part of the struggle. It's hard. It's really hard. I think about it probably every second day, just getting a job with a regular paycheck. Like it's, you have to hustle nonstop. You have to convince like Julie and Bob that the pretty picture you painted should be hung on in their bedroom, you know, for everyone to look at. Like it's not easy. Like, and it's yeah, I think about it, but then I think about I've been doing creative career since high school, and so I don't even if I wanted to go get a regular paycheck, I don't know how to go about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a tough, with music. Music is very, let's call it non-linear. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's over here, it's over here. I was doing it professionally in LA for a little while, but then I always tell people I aged out. I hit 30, and then I used to get all my gigs from Craigslist. I start seeing these posts like 25 and under, 22. 27 and under, will check IDs at the door. I'm like, what's going on with this? So a lot of the gigs that I was getting, they kind of dried up once I hit 30. So I ended up coming back to New York where my family is. And I've been here for maybe 8 years now.
Mhm.
And where are you located?
Canada,
Oh, you're in Canada. Wow.
the middle, Manitoba, Canada, very flat, very cold.
What's it like there? Cold?
In the winter, very cold. In the summer, very hot. People are surprised how hot. Like our summer temperatures go higher than like on days in California. I need some water. But it's all right here. Honestly, I was born here to have an adventurous spirit, and so will I stay here? No. I'm staying here for now for a reason. But my heart is like everywhere else but here. Like BC, Alberta could do, but yeah, these are getting to be.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know. I travel quite a bit. Like I try to go to California. It's a happy place. I feel so at home. I feel so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists they get inspiration from their location. So like being in Canada, like you kind of mentioned, it gets really hot, really cold. Do you kind of feel like that limits your inspiration in a way versus being in a place like California where it's like constantly sunny and beautiful, or not really?
75 degrees all year.
No, not at all. I find my brain gets so bored so easily. So it finds inspiration everything. Like the things in Winnipeg I love are the peeling buildings, the old peeling paint, the graffitis, I see it everywhere. I see people's flower gardens. I see, nature or animals. But the weird things like the rust, I used to do photography of just textures because I love textures so much of like old dumpsters and things like that. Like I find inspiration everywhere. I will never, you could stick me in like a dark room and I will still be inspired. That my brain has to do that to keep it like exciting in life. I gotta constantly be seeing the cool stuff.
What about you, Brian? Like, did you find inspiration different from you being in California versus you being in New York, or were you kind of
Oh,
similar?
100%. 100%. Being in LA was really inspirational because you would meet, okay, I'll just give an example. My buddy Sean, he's a blues guitarist. He's kind of like he's like a white Jimi Hendrix. Let's put it like that. He's really talented. And I met him when he was 18, just off Craigslist. The band I was in at the time, we were just posting Craigslist ads, trying to get guitarists to show up and jam. And it just came across this guy. I was like, wow, like you're by far the best player I've ever played with. And I've been playing since I was 14. I'm 39 now. So I've played with a lot of different types of people, lots of different skill levels. And this kid, Sean, is just incredible. So I met him. He's from Orange County, California, like Laguna Beach. But he was living in LA when I met him. And I think he's back in Laguna Beach now. But just being able to play with some of the best musicians in the world, there's nothing like that. Now, yes, of course, like Manhattan also has some of the best musicians in the world, but I'm all the way out in Long Island. So I'm about 2.5 hour train ride from New York City. So, even though I am in New York, I'm not in New York, New York. So it's more spread out. It's a little more suburban. I'm kind of out in the woods. You know, it's nice, but it's not the same as LA or New York. Like there's going to be added inspiration when you mix in people they're coming to the location. Like you have people moving specifically to Nashville, specifically to LA, specifically to Manhattan, New York City, for the arts, for music. So if
Yeah.
you're in one of these hubs, I feel like there's more creativity that you can kind of grab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ray, do you want to move to like a city where it's like a hub of artists, or is that something you're not really?
Not so much for the artist, but for selling. I think I could sell my art better in California. I know I can. I ship like, I don't know what percentage, but I'm gonna say 40% like to California. Like I could. I've had galleries interested in me there. My problem is storage. My problem is the whole selling in America. I don't really know how to go. There's a few things that have gotten in my way. I was going to do an art show. I met up with this guy from CBS, and he had a Hollywood Film Fest he wanted me to show my art at. And it was just a real challenge to figure out all the logistics of it, getting it there and getting it out of there, at like nowhere to put it in the meantime. Like I have big art, so it's like I feel like it's somewhere I have to move, and then you make a studio there, and from there.
Have you considered moving to LA or say the Bay Area?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, all the time. I mean, right now the way things are, I don't know if I want to move there right now, but yeah, it's my dream to move to California. Somewhere that, like, I don't know, people like, I'm an artist from Manitoba, you know, it doesn't have the same ring as I'm an artist from LA, you know? It's just
a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what I'm saying about LA. Like you come to LA and it's like, this is the hub. This is where all of the greatest musicians in the world come. They specifically come to LA. So to go out, I was out there for about 8 to 10 years. And you know, I don't regret it. I moved there when I was 22 with an indie rock band. It didn't work out. Ended up as a session musician. I didn't really like that because then, you know, the people I'm playing with, that's your boss, basically. You know, the band leader or the guitarist, that's your boss. And I was playing with a lot of jerks, a lot of kind of mean people. And they just saw me as, oh, you're just the drummer, you're just the paycheck, whatever. And I really didn't like that kind of, I like more so being younger, being in bands with my friends, you know, camaraderie, just the closeness of that. And so and that's the thing in LA, that all went away. And then it was just like you're saying, you're alone. Like I was just on my own working with different artists, and it was cool for a little bit, but I actually enjoy teaching more. That's the interesting thing. I enjoy teaching a lot.
So
Yeah.
for you, Ray, like Brian kind of mentioned, you know, he moved out to LA, and you know, he's amongst all of the greats. If you were able to move to somewhere in California where there's a lot of great artists, what would you be strategic about, like what you learn and how you interact with them? And I know you also mentioned the business aspect of it. Like you being in California, you'll probably sell a lot more. So like strategically, how do you think you would approach living in California versus what you're doing now?
Strategically, like to do with specifically my business.
Yes. Or even marketing your artwork.
I don't know. Like the thing is like my heart's desire is to live there, and that's for me because I'm happier there. I don't deal well with winters here and stuff like that. There are a lot, but so that's like my first and foremost, and then I just figure I'll make it work. Like I just know. I remember this filmmaker once saying, you know, you move to these big cities because you can, like, you just people like it's just the image of it. Like they like it more. They like to, and they always assume I'm from California. That's the first thing I get. I had people from where I'm from come pick up a painting once, and they're like, when we first met you, I thought you were like in California. We could never get the art from you and stuff like that. Like people assume I'm anyways. So I never kind of, but
That's funny.
yeah, I think it's where I'm meant to be.
You just kind of have that energy about you.
It fits my lifestyle more. It's more my pace. It's everything. I just feel so like there is just like, oh, I feel so happy there. It's like, I mean,
What
even
parts? Oh, I was gonna
Mhm.
say, what parts of LA do you like?
I mostly spend most of my time in Venice Beach.
Venice Beach, okay. I
I
can see
love it
that.
there.
Yeah, I
love
can see that. Or there's a lot of artists in Silver Lake as well.
Mhm. I've traveled all around through California a little while back, but now I've just kind of stayed. It's such, it's like so different. It's like
It
takes
is.
me by just lets me enjoy it.
So like what would you say is holding you back from moving to California? I know it's really expensive. Is that like the primary factor?
Expensive. They don't just let anyone, like you need to get married, you need to have
Oh,
a
wow.
really good career that shows that you're going to like you need to move there for your career. It's very tricky too.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
hopefully you can end up living that dream.
Oh, I make it happen. I make everything happen. I'll make it happen for sure.
So like I know being an artist who makes a living from art and just painting or drawing for fun, it's completely different because of one, you can just do it when you feel like, do what project you feel passionate about. But when it becomes a business, there's demands like you need to make X amount of money. So, and when you're dealing with clients, you're not painting what you want, you're painting what they want. So,
Right.
do you find the business aspect ever diminishes your desire to paint, or how do you deal with that?
It does. I have been very aware of this from the start since I started selling, only because of what I went through with photography and knowing how much I hated it at the end, and I needed my art. Like I needed it in my life, but I couldn't hate it. So I went in with
Right.
certain rules. First of all, I was never going to do commissions. I broke that rule. I do dog commissions. I draw the line at dog commissions. There's every now and then I'll get a person approach me with a cat or celebrity and they have this idea and I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta do that. Like, but it has to be done right. It's not that I don't want to do everyone's idea or anything like that. It's just I can't do it justice. Like I have to be excited about it. So dogs excite me. I found like they excite me. I found that they're very similar to a human face, like not structurally, but like in the like the uniqueness and their expressions and stuff like that. So I get very excited about that. But yeah, no, definitely. I have my moments where I get very upset that like I'll get certain clients, like sometimes they'll get demandy or mean or weird and I get very mad that this is like I'm like I just want to do my art. I just want to do it for me. I don't
Yeah.
want to deal with these grumpy.
Yeah, like for me, that's why I didn't like the being a session musician, because it's just like you're just looked at as a paycheck. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give this guy $100 playing this gig in Venice. Okay, I'm gonna give this guy $20 an hour for a rehearsal. And they don't necessarily like you or want to get to know you. You're just, you need a drummer. You're a necessity.
You're a
And
tool,
I really,
essentially, to some people.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're basically a tool, and I really dislike that. I remember one time, it was right when I kind of made the jump to doing 100% music. I remember coming home from, I played a show at it's not there anymore, but the House of Blues in West Hollywood,
Mhm.
and I remember I played. It was like a reggae gig, and I remember getting home and I just felt like someone had like knocked the wind out of me. I just felt like, wow, my whole life I've been waiting and trying to get here, and I'm finally there, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And it was like a soul crushing moment. And, I think I only stayed out there for maybe another year, and then made my way back east.
So Ray,
Yeah.
it sounds
For
like
sure.
it sounds like you had that similar moment that Brian was just expressing with photography. What about photography kind of turned you away from it? Like, what about that did you not like enough to just stop completely?
I didn't like, I was a person that at that time, I felt like I hadn't learned all my business lessons. And I felt like I needed to do everything properly. Wait, everything that everybody requested of me, because I could not turn down money. So I took on every job. I did. If they're like, oh, can you edit this bathroom sink into a boardroom table? I'd be like, yeah, I can. And I could, but it would take me hours, and they'd give me like $20 for it. Like, it was soul draining. Like, it was, I needed to learn that lesson though before I put my painting out there. Like, I needed to learn how to draw boundaries. I'm very strict with my boundaries of commissions. I write a letter. I tell people how it goes. They're not going to be involved in it. I make the decisions. I think it's an interview for both sides. They pick me and I pick them. Like, I think we both have to
Right.
agree we can work together. And if we can't,
Right.
if they're part, like, they're like, no, I have a color scheme. I have an idea. I have this. That's great. But they're not that. You know, it's hard to turn down money. But like, sometimes you can't take on the job just because, like, that's going to make you miserable. It's going to have someone leaning over your shoulder. It's going to have, that you're never going to feel like you're going to leave. Like, you just can't. And sometimes I just have to say, sorry, I don't think we're a good match, like, and it's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, establishing boundaries are incredibly important when dealing with clients. Like Brian, have you had to establish several boundaries when dealing with people who hired you as a session musician?
I just I treated them like, associates or coworkers. I wasn't hitting them up to go to the bar. I wasn't saying, hey, come over to my place on Saturday night. Wasn't like that at all. It was just like, okay, what time's the rehearsal? Okay, great. I'll see you at 7 in downtown LA. It'd be more like that, or okay, we're playing a gig in West Hollywood or Venice Beach. Okay, show up at 7:30. Okay, bet I'll be there. And then I show up, and you just kind of, the thing with music is there's a lot of waiting around. People don't really think about that, but especially if you're doing a sound check and then you got to wait around to play for like another 4 hours, it's like, what do you really do with your time? So I always found that really boring as a musician. You're just sitting around waiting, or you're watching bands that you really don't want to watch, who are not inspiring to you, aren't really that good. So yeah, in general, I had a tough time with doing music in LA. I thought I would really enjoy it, and I ended up really not enjoying it. And I ended up kind of going back to teaching at that point, because there's nothing like, teaching a kid. I got one student, he's 11 now, and we do all kinds of stuff, reggae, rock, Michael Jackson, pretty much anything I throw at this kid, he can do. And there's a certain, there's a certain passion, there's a certain feeling that you get once you show a kid something and they do it, but then they do it in their own way. You're like, okay, that's great. You did it like I showed you, but now you do you. And then to see that kind of transformation, to me, makes it all worth it.
So you're like Brian just mentioned teaching. Do you ever have a desire to teach art, or are you more so primarily just on the performative side?
I would like to teach to children or people who are like down on their luck. One day, I think art therapy is my jam for teaching. I couldn't teach, like, I could never do an instructional. This is what people want on Instagram. They want me to do an instructional video on like this, and you can't even really see this. You just see the bottom of it, but it's an eye painting. But you know, they want me to teach. I can't, because that's a feeling thing. Like you guys said, like that's me just going with my God, going with my feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but like I would love to just sit down to arts and crafts with people who, like with children. I would love to teach them also how to go about being creative without all the hang-ups. Um and there's this beautiful reel I have reposted. I don't repost many things on my page, but it's this woman who's teaching a young class of kids how to paint, and she just keeps getting them to repeat what she says. And she's like, it's not a big deal if we mess up. It's just a painting and stuff like that. Like, I love that. And I love the idea of like people being down on their luck and finding something that they're passionate about. Like, you know, whether it be in rehab or in like mental health facilities or whatever, just somebody finds something to get them through, because I think that's so important.
Now, that was a great point that you mentioned about not just teaching the technical aspect of it. So I want to hear from both you and Brian, like when in regards to teaching, like beyond just teaching the actual craft of either playing music or doing art, like what are some of the mental things, or you know, just other lessons outside of just the actual act that you're teaching that are really important?
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it has to do with willpower and patience, and consistency as well. Because, you know, I'll tell my students, look, you know, I play an hour a day, every day, no matter what. So it's just, I set the time for that creative moment. I do it for an hour. Sometimes I feel like doing it, sometimes I don't, but I pretty much just make myself play for an hour every day because I want to keep my skill set up, and you know, I just want to push the boundaries of the art form and things like that. But I find that a lot of people have a tough time doing every single day, you know, because they'll say, look, it's better. And this is what a lot of people don't understand about music. It's better that you do 5 minutes a day, 7 days a week versus 2 hours every Sunday. For whatever, I think it's because of the way muscle memory works. You're just doing, you know, that maybe there's just like a 5 minute song. You're doing that 5 minute song and then you go about your day. But the repetition of that starts to really get into you. And I'm always trying to get, you know, kids and adults to realize it's not the length of time, it's not the duration, it's the frequency. That's just how our brains work for whatever reason.
Awesome. How about you, Ray?
The mental aspect of how to rethink things, just think things differently. In regards to your process of painting, your initial instinct is to put yourself down and to hate it and to see what you're doing wrong and see not what you're doing right. And that's not the point. Like that's not the reason we paint. Like that's the reason maybe some people paint to make it perfect, but art is fun and art is play. And to not see it. Like for me, when I get a bristle in my painting, I leave it in there because I'm like, that just shows it's not a print. Like it shows that somebody's hands are in here. Like
Yeah.
you know, things like that. If I make a mistake, it's just like it adds to like the humanness of it. I mean, now with all the AI art and stuff like that, but like to just give yourself a break, like, you know, but like just paint freely and don't worry about perfection, because I love photorealism artists. I think it's amazing. It's a great skill. It's impressive, but once I look at it, it's just like looking at a photograph, really.
Yeah.
No, that's a fantastic point. That's pretty much what made me stop drawing was, you know, comparing myself to the masters and just finding technical flaws in my work. And at a certain point, it just stops becoming fun and you stop doing it. But, you know, with anything.
Oh, for me too.
Exactly. The more you do something, the better you get. So if I would have just stopped trying to do that and just have fun, like you mentioned, I probably would have been be a lot better than I am right now.
It's not easy. It's not easy, like to let yourself allow that, like in your brain, because you want to control and you want to make it how you envisioned it to be. And, you know, it's not easy.
And I guess for our listeners, we talk about AI a lot on this show. How do you see that affecting what you do, the craft, and the industry at large? How do you see that playing out?
You know, as a whole, AI scares me and I don't like it. I played around with it for a bit. Like, I made a video where I turned my paintings into real life people, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And of course, I got controversial, you know, remarks about don't use AI, blah blah. And I think we need to. I don't want to get too much into that. But as far as art goes, I found it helpful. Like, sometimes you need a reference or an image that looks a certain way, and to type it in and to get that image without having to worry. Like, I realize it's taken from different photographers and stuff like that, but I'm not using that image. I'm using it as a reference image. And like, sometimes I find that helpful, like, or I need a palm tree to look a certain way, or I need whatever. So like, I find in that way, honestly, it's helpful. But like, if I could eradicate AI as a whole and lose that little tiny like trick I learned, I would probably do that, because I'm not worried though about my career. I think people always want a human aspect to their
Yeah.
art. There'll be some people that will
Always.
be cheap, but like, I think,
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
sure.
what's really weird is the AI art, technically it looks good, but you look at it and something feels a little off. It's hard to explain what it is. Maybe it's too perfect, but
Right.
you know, you could kind of tell
Yeah.
this is AI art. This is generated from a computer, even though it looks great. I guess maybe it's just missing the
Yeah.
story, the passion and emotion. I don't know what it is, but um,
It's not quite,
I think
it's missing
passion. Yeah,
something.
I think it's kind of like, well, okay, if we think about, back to the 80s when drum machines came out, a lot of drummers I mean, I was born in 87, but I've heard stories from drummers that, okay, in the 80s, everyone was worried, oh, the drum machine is going to replace drummers. It's going to replace them live. It's going to replace them in the studio. And what happened? That didn't happen at all. Even hip hop acts have drummers live and for live sessions in the studio. So it never happened. So I think there's that same kind of fear of, oh, AI is going to take all the jobs, but I don't think AI is going to take the jobs, but it's going to change the jobs.
Mhm.
That's kind of where my head is with all of this.
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, we've had quite a few creatives on the show. We asked them about AI and how they typically see it is they might use it as a tool, but they're not using it as a crutch. Like, they're not creating their art with it, but like you mentioned, they might use it to generate a reference or do this
Yeah.
little thing a
Right.
little quicker.
Yeah. I have no need to print out a AI art.
But yeah, we're getting to the top of the hour. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
It's been fun.
Before we get out of here, did you want to leave our audience with any closing thoughts, and where can our audience find you at? And Brian, did you have any final question?
I'll let Ray go ahead first, and then I'll ask.
What did you tell me to do, Ray? Can you find me? My Instagram is most active, and that's Rey RUI.Fritsch FRITSCH on Instagram, and then I say stuff.
Awesome.
I'm sure I do, but yeah.
And I guess my final question would be, if you were able to go into a time machine and go and meet your younger self at, let's say, 14, 15, high school age, what would you coming from the future, what would you tell your then 14-year-old self? What kind of advice would you give to yourself?
There's a lot of questions. I'll try to keep it simple, because I feel like there's a lot of things that my little self needs to know. But that it doesn't matter. That the stuff that you think matters isn't going to matter in 10 years from now. And if, like, before you get all worried about something or, something, think, is it going to matter in a day, 2 days from now? Because it's definitely not going to matter 20 years from now or whatever. And just be you and love yourself and enjoy your life. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. You can't live in the past. You gotta move
Yeah.
on, learn, and things can get better tomorrow if you don't hold on to the past.
Yeah,
That's right.
But yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. We'll have to get you back sometime.
thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks for
having me.
coming on. Thanks for coming
It was a
on.
lot of fun.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
my first
most definitely.
podcast. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
All right.
You
Yeah.
did an amazing job.
Yeah. You're natural.
thank you.